Tank Davis is back in the spotlight, not just for his upcoming fight with Lamont Roach. The undefeated knockout artist just dropped another training video, and as expected, fans are talking. Tank showed his speed, explosive power, and sharp reflexes. Everything that makes him one of the most feared fighters. But this time, it's not just fans reacting. Rolando Romero, a former opponent and WBA super lightweight champion, has a lot to say about the fight.
Hey, can't even see who it is. Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
Romero sat down with Fight Hype to share his thoughts. And if you know Rolly, you know he doesn't hold back. He believes Tank has everything in his favor for this fight, calling it an unfair matchup. Lamont Roach is moving up in weight, and Rolly pointed out that it's not good because he's facing a vicious puncher. He made it clear that he's not taking anything away from Roach, saying Roach is a tremendous fighter, but the weight difference matters, and Tank is one of the hardest hitters in the sport. Rolly makes a good point. Lamont Roach, a skilled and technical fighter, is stepping into dangerous territory against Tank, a man known for his brutal knockouts. Moving up in weight isn't just about gaining a few pounds, it changes everything. Fighters who move up often struggle with power, speed, and endurance against naturally bigger opponents. In this case, Roach isn't just facing a bigger guy, he's facing one of the most explosive punchers in boxing today. When asked if Roach has any chance of an upset, Rolly didn't hold back. He said no. Tank has too much experience, too much power, and the weight advantage. Rolly explained that some might say Roach is a better boxer, but he's not better than Tank in any area. He's not a bigger puncher, he's not stronger, and moving up in weight might slow him down. Tank has a high fight IQ, better footwork, and overall, every advantage. Rolly's breakdown makes it clear, Roach is stepping into a storm. While he has skill, Tank wins in power, speed, footwork, and IQ. The only way Roach has a shot is if Tank has an off night, and even then, he'd need more than just luck.
Just no way whatsoever?
No, just too much experience, too much power, too much big weight. Everything is in Tank's favor.
Everything? Wow.
Yeah, because
Tank's latest training video backed up everything Rolly said. In the footage, Tank looked sharp, fast, and dangerous. His combinations were crisp, his footwork was on point, and the power in his shots was scary. Fans have seen him train before, but this video felt different, like he's fully locked in and ready to make a statement. Many fighters post training clips, but when Tank does it, people pay attention. His speed was blinding, his movement effortless, and the way he slipped punches and countered with power made one thing clear. Roach is in for the toughest fight of his life.
No one's been able to solve Tank Davis. What do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get the results.
Move that head, bob and weave.
While Roach is no pushover, he's in a tough spot. Moving up in weight is already a challenge, but facing a puncher like Tank makes it even harder. Unlike Rolly, who had power when he fought Tank, Roach isn't known for knockouts, and that could be a big problem. Tank has faced slick boxers before, and it hasn't worked out for them. Once he figures out their timing, he walks them down and lands the shot that ends the fight. If Roach can't hurt him or make him respect his power, it's going to be a long and painful night for him.
That box yet. You know what I'm saying? They're about to put him with a guy at 130 pounds. Whether he's a champion or not, you're getting a guy lighter than you to come up and weight to make you look good again. You know what I'm saying?
Rolly mentioned one thing that could help Roach. Tank having an off night. It's rare but not impossible. Every great fighter can have a bad performance. Maybe Tank underestimates Roach, maybe he's not fully focused, or maybe he makes an early mistake that boosts Roach's confidence. Boxing is unpredictable and surprises happen, but counting on Tank having an off night isn't a solid game plan. Even when he's not at his best, he still finds a way to win. His power alone can change a fight in seconds.
Tank and Lamont Roach. Is that the right opponent for Tank?
I don't know why everybody is kind of sleeping on Lamont, but he has a decorated amateur career too. He's a very sturdy kid. He's very skilled. Tank is Tank. You know, and when I say Tank, I mean like he's a bad man. He can fight. He's tough. I know we had our dispute back and forth, whatever, but at the end of the day, if we talk about just boxing, he's a good fighter and
Even if Roach starts well, one mistake could end everything. As someone who has shared the ring with Tank, Rolly speaks from experience. He knows firsthand how dangerous Tank is and doesn't see Roach having a real chance. You can't compare my fight with Tank to Roach's fight because I'm another puncher, Rolly said. It's a good point. Despite losing to Tank, Rolly at least had the power to make things interesting. But Roach doesn't have that same ability to hurt him. And if you can't hurt Tank, you're in trouble. Paulie Malignaggi also didn't hold back when criticizing Gervonta Davis, calling him out for weak opposition and accusing him of hurting the sport just to make easy money. Malignaggi believes Tank is being overpaid without proving himself against real Hall of Fame level opponents, and now talks about retirement while avoiding the toughest names in the division. He pointed out that while Tank's record looks great on paper, it lacks true substance. He listed Tank's best wins: Ryan Garcia with weight stipulations, Frank Martin, Jose Pedraza, Isaac Cruz, Rolly Romero, and Leo Santa Cruz, and questioned if any of them truly tested him at an elite level. Malignaggi criticized Tank's handlers for making easy money by keeping him away from dangerous fights. He also slammed the decision to put Lamont Roach against Tank, calling it poor matchmaking and part of a pattern of taking fights that look competitive but are predictable. Paulie even questioned Tank's talk of retirement, saying it makes no sense when he hasn't faced real threats. In his view, Tank's retirement talk isn't about being satisfied. It's about avoiding the hungry, dangerous fighters circling him now.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb next. And Tank's going to say, I won all those guys. And they're going to go to the press conference. And Elliot Setback's going to say, who do you want next? He say, I won all.
Fighters like Andy Cruz, Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Muratalla, Keyshawn Davis, and Edwin De Los Santos are all real threats. And as the WBA 135lb title holder, Tank can't avoid them forever. Malignaggi believes Tank knows the challenges ahead and is thinking about taking the easy way out before he's forced into a tough fight. The criticism didn't stop there. Malignaggi claimed that if he had faced the same opponents as Tank, he'd be undefeated too. He admitted Tank's power is impressive, but questioned why fans haven't seen him fight a truly elite opponent. He accused Tank of carefully picking his opponents and called him spineless for never testing himself against a truly great fighter.
I say 9th round.
What?
I say 9th round.
You said 9?
Yeah.
What's your response to that, Lamont?
Look, he got scared. Look, he looked at night.
I'm telling you, saying you going down in a night?
This isn't the first time Malignaggi has criticized Tank's career, but his words are hitting harder now because the boxing world is starting to ask the same questions. Why hasn't Tank fought a top-tier opponent? Why are so many of his fights set up in his favor? And if he's truly great, why is he talking about retirement when there are bigger fights to be made? Malignaggi's comments sparked debate among boxing fans, and some agreed with him, pointing out that fighters like Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney have taken riskier fights to prove their greatness, while Tank has stuck to matchups that guarantee him victory.
Hank Davis has been avoiding, in my opinion, the big fights. Lomachenko, Pitbull Cruz, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney was there. Tafima was there at one point. He finally fought Ryan, but Ryan, he was drained, and we saw how Ryan looked at 140.
Others defended Tank, saying he's fought who was available and that his knockout power proves his dominance. But Malignaggi wasn't buying it. Tank hasn't responded to Paulie's comments yet, but given how active he is on social media, it wouldn't be surprising if he replies soon. Whether or not he addresses it, the pressure is on, with young, hungry contenders looking for a shot at him. The question remains, will he step up or step away?
Go against the big dogs. Stop playing all this bullshit, acting like you that dude. You that money dude for sure. But when it comes to like straight balls, you know what I'm saying? You got one dude that ran around in the ring the whole 12 rounds. You got another dude that run around all year from the hardest fucking fights. The ones that people want to see, they got to sign with.
Shakur Stevenson hasn't given up on the idea of fighting Tank Davis. Stevenson, the current WBC lightweight champion, is preparing for his next fight against Floyd Schofield on February 22nd. This will be his first fight with Matchroom Boxing since leaving Top Rank. Shakur has had a tough time lately. He was supposed to fight Joe Cordina last year, but he broke his hand, so the fight didn't happen. He then aimed for a fight with his WBC mandatory, William Zepeda, but the Mexican fighter withdrew after injuring his hand.
Has there been any talks with Tank's team?
They reached out, but we told them to come back with an offer. And as far as that, we ain't heard nothing since then. Me and him fighting each other, we'll seal the deal on the kings of that division, the kings of this.
Shakur will now face the undefeated Schofield, who is looking to cause an upset in his first world title shot. Shakur knows that a win will bring him closer to securing a unification against the WBA lightweight champion. Tank Davis is set to face Lamont Roach Jr. next on March 1st and has said he will retire this year, meaning there isn't much time to make that fight happen. There have been conflicting stories from both camps about the fight. Davis has been one of the most dominant fighters, but his willingness to face top competition has been questioned by many, including Stevenson. Shakur has always said he would love to test himself against Tank, believing his defensive mastery and technical skills would pose serious problems. I just want to fight the best, and I think Tank is one of the best. If I get that fight, I'll prove that I'm the best fighter at lightweight, said Stevenson.
6, 7 more fights, and I'm naming names. One of the guys, obviously, you and Shakur got into it on Twitter. You was like, you wanted them 6 or 7.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
For sure?
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
Do you think that's going to be your hardest fight?
Hell no.
Nah?
Wow.
Because he a good boxer, nigga. Like, that's when I look at y'all two as the best in the division.
Stevenson has often been criticized for his fighting style, with some saying he's too defensive and not exciting enough for casual fans, but he sees it differently. People say I don't take risks, but I control the fight. I don't get hit, and I make my opponents look bad. That's the point of boxing. If Tank thinks he can beat me, let's see if he can hit me, Stevenson said. His confidence in his skills is clear, and many in the boxing world believe that if anyone can neutralize Tank's power, it's Shakur. Eddie Hearn has made it clear he is focused on putting Stevenson in big fights. The plan for Shakur is to face Floyd Schofield, William Zepeda, and then Tank Davis in 2025. That fight against Tank will be one of the biggest in the world. Hearn also thinks Tank's retirement talk is just to keep people guessing, saying, "It's a strategy I've used myself, and it's a strategy that Fury is using at the moment."
Who have Shakur? What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him.
Who that?
The Keyshawn. Keyshawn looking way more better than this. I keep screaming his name. He haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done nothing.
So what do you say to those who
I
might
keep
be
saying his
afraid?
name for.
So what do you say to those who might be saying?
Tank's team, however, doesn't seem as excited about the fight. Even though they've shown interest in fighting Stevenson, Davis has downplayed Shakur's abilities, saying, "He's boring. He doesn't bring any excitement to the sport. If I fight him, I'd knock him out. Nobody worried about Shakur." While Stevenson is focused on Tank, there are other big names in his future if the Tank fight doesn't happen. A move to 140 PS is possible, with potential fights against Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney. Haney and Stevenson have exchanged words before, and many consider them two of the most skilled boxers of their generation. Stevenson knows that these fights could define his career. "I'm ready for all of them, whether it's Tank, Haney, or Teofimo. I want to fight the best and show who I am," he said.
Though, with anybody, I feel like I'm a bad motherfucker. Like, I feel like I'm the best fighter in the sport of boxing, so I think these dudes is great fighters, but I just feel like when they come down to me, I don't, like, nobody could beat me. They all could get it.
Stevenson's decision to sign with Matchroom has opened new doors for him. Hearn's strong relationship with Saudi Arabian promoters means that a potential mega fight could take place in the Middle East, where fighters are getting record-breaking paydays. Saudi Arabia is changing the game. They are bringing the biggest fights, and I want to be a part of that. If the fight with Tank happens in Saudi, that's even bigger, Stevenson said. Regardless of whether Tank follows through with his retirement talk, Stevenson is determined to keep pushing for the fight. He believes he is the best lightweight in the world and wants the chance to prove it. But first, he has to get past Floyd Schofield, who is coming into the fight as a dangerous, hungry contender. I'm not looking past Schofield. He's coming to win, and I have to handle business first. But after that, I want the biggest fights, Stevenson stated.
3 people in the world that I think that could beat Tank. That would be Devin, that would be Shakur, and Tank Davis himself.
You got the last one right. That's the only person that can beat me. Gervonta Davis. That's the only person. Them niggas cannot touch me at all. They all been in the ring with me. They all been in the ring, and I cracked both of them.
Davis's critics, like Paulie Malignaggi, believe that Tank's talk of retirement is just a way to avoid fighters like Stevenson. You don't need to manufacture a star. You don't need to put Gervonta Davis with the guy who pumps my gas just to keep making a star, Malignaggi said. When I hear Gervonta Davis say he's going to retire, that's because you made your money. But what did you accomplish? You don't have a single Hall of Famer on your resume, and you're talking about retiring because you accomplished it all? That's crazy to me. Teofimo Lopez is also on the waiting list, and he believes Davis's highlight reel knockouts may not be as impressive as they seem. Lopez thinks Davis has been carefully matched against fighters who don't truly test his abilities in the ring. Known for his explosive performances and willingness to face top-tier opponents, Lopez questioned the legitimacy of Davis's knockout streak. I think a lot of people just focus on the knockouts he does, but against who, Lopez said. They're not seasoned fighters. It would be a great fight, but he's never faced a fighter like me. Never at all. Never.
He's been catered more than I've been and pampered more than I've ever been.
Boxing fans have talked about you and Ryan for a long, long time.
I think more me and Tank will be than Ryan. I like facing the guys that beat the guy rather than the guy that lost to the guy. Ryan just kept literally lunging in and throwing the hooks. I mean, that was the easy.
Davis, with an undefeated 30-0 record and 28 knockouts, is considered one of the most dangerous punchers in the sport. His power is clear, having left a trail of defeated opponents, most recently finishing Frank Martin in the 8th round with his signature power shots. With a title defense against Lamont Roach coming up in March, Davis remains the favorite to add another knockout to his record. However, Lopez is not convinced. The former unified lightweight champion believes Davis has yet to face a truly elite challenge and isn't alone in this view. Shakur Stevenson has also shared similar thoughts, suggesting that Tank carefully avoids top fighters who could truly test him.
Listen, you gotta go to the king? That's the king behind me.
Stylistically, they're the same fighter. The makeup is a little different, the size is a little different, but their boxing style, the way that they fight is the...
He just doesn't seem like a real person, Stevenson said, adding no disrespect to Davis, but emphasizing that he is a real person. Stevenson acknowledged Tank's skills, but questioned what Davis has truly done for the sport. He believes Davis should ask himself the same question. The criticism of Davis isn't just about his opponents, but also the circumstances around his fights. Stevenson pointed out that many of Davis's knockouts have come under specific conditions, like weight clauses and rehydration limits on his opponents, which make his wins seem more dominant than they might actually be.
Hey, champ. When we gonna see you back in the ring?
Thank you so much. Right now, I think we should announce something hopefully by the end of this year.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Tank saying he gonna slap the shit out you when he see you?
Well, let me know so I can call ESPN Top Rank.
Even the fighters Davis has knocked out have all been under weight clauses or weight drains, Stevenson added. It looks good to the public, but as a fighter, he knows what's going on. Davis is picking less talented fighters, putting them in the ring, and making them look like they're on his level, but they're not. This critique raises an interesting question in boxing. While Davis's knockout streak is impressive, does the quality of his opponents take away from his legacy? His notable wins include stoppages over Romero, Garcia, and Santa Cruz, but there are doubts about whether they were at their best when they fought him. Lopez, Stevenson, and others want to see Davis face a truly elite opponent, someone who won't be affected by weight stipulations or lack of experience. Instead of calling out top names, Davis has hinted at retiring by the end of the year. If he does retire, he'll leave with an undefeated record and a reputation as one of the hardest hitters in boxing. But will he be remembered as a truly great fighter or someone who never fully tested himself? What's your take? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.